The lioness betrayed her mate, mating with a wandering male lion and giving birth to 4 cubs. However, the stray lion simply abandoned them. Without the protection of a male lion, the pressure on Callie to raise the cubs alone doubled. Left with no choice, she made a bold decision. She would bring the cubs back to her former pride. This plan carried a fatal risk. Once the male lion discovered that the cubs were not his blood, he would not hesitate to kill them. But if she succeeded against the odds, not only would the cubs gain a more comfortable environment to grow up in, but Callie's burden would also be greatly reduced. As the distance to the pride grew shorter, Callie became increasingly nervous. The moment her companions saw her, she immediately sensed that something was wrong. Her once affectionate sisters stared at her in unison, but their eyes lacked the warmth of the past. What made her heart sink even more was that her husband Scar was walking toward her with a dark expression on his face. The next second, he let out an angry roar at the cubs. Callie understood in her heart that her plan to sneak the cubs in had completely failed. She immediately positioned herself in front of Scar, buying as much time as possible for the cubs to escape. But just then, another male lion from the pride lunged at her fiercely. Facing the attack from 2 male lions, Callie had no strength left to resist. She could only frantically flee into the distance. From that moment on, she was forced to begin a wandering life of raising the cubs alone. The little lions followed their mother with confused expressions on their faces. Without the support of the pride, survival became their most pressing challenge. The hungry cubs cried out for food, and after days without eating, Callie's milk supply had dwindled. Now she needed to hunt immediately. Soon 3 zebras entered Callie's line of sight. She quickly crouched down low and silently approached her target. Moments later, she reached the optimal position for an ambush. To ensure success, she didn't act rashly. Instead, she lowered her body and patiently waited for the right moment. When the zebras turned to leave, Callie burst out from the grass and launched her attack on the target. By the time the zebras realized what was happening, it was too late to escape. One was directly knocked to the ground by Callie. But before she could enjoy her meal, a group of uninvited guests flew down from the sky. Although vultures didn't have the ability to compete with lions for food, their circling silhouettes pointed the hyenas in the right direction. Soon after, a hyena spotted Callie not far away. At first, Callie paid little attention to this single hyena, but she forgot that hyenas were never solitary hunters. As the hyena continued to emit piercing calls, before long, a large pack of hyenas converged on the scene. Worse still, they discovered the cubs hidden in a low-lying area. Facing these sworn enemies, Callie was unwilling to surrender the prey she had just captured. This wasn't just food for her own survival. It was the key to determining whether her cubs would live or die. So she decisively launched an attack on the hyena pack.